All right, everybody. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Hope you guys are still doing well. And since I skipped last week, I wanted to make sure that I would get to this video this week. We are doing another mock draft. So call it Seattle Seahawks mock draft version 6.0. Again, my priority right now is to kind of mix and match stuff and present a bunch of different scenarios. Basically, just explore the space that I am granted with the picks the Seattle Seahawks have. So if you've watched my previous mock drafts, you know that I'm really trying to provide a variety of paths. And assuming we keep the pick, which is what I'm doing right now, I'm still not doing trades or anything like that. I think there's a very good chance we end up happening on, at the very least, the first round pick we end up going with. So let's go ahead and get to 6.0 mock draft. All right, guys, hold up because my friends at Sleeper are introducing some new features, and I want to tell you guys about them before we go any further. Sleeper is launching Team Picks, a new prediction market product. So now, on top of all the over-unders you can pick over on their Sleeper app, you can now pick on games. For instance, if you take a look to my left on the screen right now, you can see you can make a pick on the Super Bowl. They also have some bonuses available on over-unders for players. So there's now way more stuff you can get up to over on Sleeper. Get on over there before the Super Bowl, and don't forget to use the promo code SBN for a 100% match up to $100 on your first deposit. And don't forget to utilize the free $20 entry that you get just for making an account. So the Super Bowl is almost here. Make sure you get on Sleeper and have some fun with sports. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at my picks. We're going to start with our 32nd overall pick. Again, not doing trades. This time I went with Akeem Mesidor, the edge rusher from the Miami Hurricanes. And I'll just be honest here. I think that this being one of my first round pick options for the Seahawks kind of illustrates the problem with this draft class. And I like Mesidor. He's got some real good pass rush moves. He's a guy who has a genuine bag of tricks he can whip out to get to the quarterback. And he's also somebody that has some strength to hold up against the run. He's a little bit bigger than the typical edge. So there is a lot that I like. But Mesidor in a normal draft, I don't think would be anywhere close to the first round. He's going to be 25 years old before he gets to play in the NFL. I think he's going to be 25 before he gets drafted. So yeah, it's problematic, right? The older guys are kind of already capped out. So I will just go ahead and straight up say that. I know that's kind of a weird thing to say when I'm having him as my top pick in my mock, but I do like his game. I do think he brings a lot of versatility, and he can be an every down edge in the NFL. It's just one of those things where I think this illustrates really well the issue with this year's draft. It is weak enough to where a player like Mesidor, who is not some uber talented speed demon off the edge and is going to be 25 right around the time of the draft, is a legitimate first round pick. But in this draft, I think that he is actually a pretty good option, admittedly. Okay, second round pick, I'm going with a running back, and this is going to be one of my... If we decide to replace Zach Charbonnet in the draft, Jadarian Price is going to be one of my top guys. Running back from Notre Dame. He's got some power. He's got size. He's got the north-south ability that you're going to be looking for when you're trying to find a back to complement K9. So to me, while I would prefer to get a veteran running back in free agency, Jadarian Price is going to be a pretty reasonable option to pair up with the Walker for 2026. And hopefully that gets us to the point where Charbonnet can come back and maybe make contributions later in the year. But also keep in mind, next year is Charbonnet's contract year. He could be gone after 2026. So you have to think about life after Charbonnet as well, even if you bring back Walker. So Jadarian Price kind of becomes your guy going forward from the point where you lose Charbonnet. So that is round number 2. And again, under normal circumstances, I think Price would be like a round 3 guy. But in this draft, I think that he is probably a round 2 guy because it is a lower quality draft. Okay, so now we get to our third and final impact pick, potentially, our final top 2-day pick. I'm going with Treydon Stukes, a player that I didn't really talk about too much over the last year, a cornerback from Arizona. He's got great size. He's bigger than the average cornerback in the NFL right now. He's somebody who should be very, very good against the run, and that's going to be very important because this Seattle Seahawks team, one thing that they're really going to want to do, and one thing they really need to keep doing, is stopping the run from nickel and dime packages. And Stukes, don't know if he's immediately going to be able to become a starter, but he's got a shot. And we need to strongly consider abilities like that when we're talking about cornerbacks starting on this team. Guys who can stop the run, guys who can tackle. So beyond that, I think he also has good I think he also has some good ball skills. Will probably have to improve his zone instincts, but I think that's true of a lot of cornerbacks we could get in this draft, so that's just is what it is. So, those are kind of the 3 significant picks for the Seahawks, and you can see the strategy, right? We're adding an edge that can enter the rotation. We're adding a running back that can, be a complementary back to Walker, and we're adding a cornerback who has the size and the ability to play outside in the NFL. Okay. That's your top 3. Now, our final pick, I went with Inez Cooper, another Miami Hurricane. Very big guy, but also a pretty good athlete. He's like 347 pounds, but he is capable of playing in space. He's not necessarily great at it yet, but he does have athleticism. Inez Cooper is somebody that obviously started on a team that nearly won the national championship, and there's a lot of power there. And right guard is a position where you might be able to find a quality starter late because those guys, it's not that hard for them. It's not really that hard to be a competent right guard in the NFL. You just need the strength to hold up against nose tackles and one techs, and you're probably going to be okay. So Inez Cooper, I don't think he'd be a day one starter. No, I think that in this circumstance, you're just hoping that he becomes a year 2 starter at best. But this is a contract year for Anthony Bradford, and I do think he's going to be our starting right guard in 2026 right now. But Cooper's a guy who has a chance to maybe become a starter by 2027. And in the 6th round, that's really good. A lot of the guys you get in the 6th round have no realistic chance, no realistic path to becoming a starter. All right, so that is my mock draft. Again, it's only 4 picks. I know it's not much to look at, but that is how I see things for this one. Again, trying to mix and match with each one, and I think this is a pretty good one. We are getting to the point where you're really starting to notice the flaws in this draft, and you're really having to settle for guys that you normally would not pick that high if you want to play the game, which is why me and others have advocated for trading these picks and getting veteran players in here. All right, so more videos coming soon. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think. And that is Mock Draft 6.0.